What is up, guys? Specstar here today, and what I have here is very special. It is all the drafts of Hive Weedle, which, for those of you who don't know, is the bottom division of the Hive League. And I am here today to roast them. I'm not here to give them constructive criticism. I am here to roast them, and I am here to rate them. So, starting off here, we have got Snivy, and he has the team drafted to the left here, you can see, the Mew. Of course, he's got the Z Mew because it's the first week of Sun and Moon, and Z Mew is going to totally be busted, right? Genesis Supernova, what'll stop the thing now? And of course, he had to go ahead and grab both Crobat and Togekiss because who wouldn't want the same Pokemon twice? And of course, we see he's actually got a powerful Rain Core here with Omastar and the Heliolisk. Oh wait, it's not a Rain team. Just a random Rain Core without any rain there. And that is looking like the team. So there are some strengths to it, of course. You know, I'm a big Mega Venusaur guy. They got a little bit of an interesting Fire, Water, Grass core, but there's definitely some switching synergy around there. Definitely could have used a Pursuit Trapper. I would have definitely wanted a Pursuit Trapper if I had Mega Venusaur, especially when 2/3 of my Fire, Water, Grass core is weak to Psychic. But Hydreigon's pretty solid. Still, I might have wanted to, instead of grabbing something like Omastar, maybe I would have wanted to grab something like Spiritomb, or maybe instead of Bronzong, go after Metagross, which can click Pursuit. Overall, let me just see if I can get this image inserted. I should have done it before, but I didn't. So I'm going to do a little bit of live editing. Who doesn't love live editing? Everyone does. Here we go. I'm going to give this draft a C+. I wonder if this would be better if I zoomed it in a bit, huh? Yeah, there's a bit cut out of the screen, but it might be better. I'll move this image back down. Let's see if I can blow this up further. Live editing once again, folks. Who doesn't love it? I'm a fan. Next up here, we've got this draft by Ryo with the Tapu Koko Hawlucha core, and he's got Koko and Zygarde. And it looks to me like he took Koko in the first round and Zygarde in the second round, and his friend said to him, he's like, dude, you are rolling now, you can't screw this team up now. And then Ryo said, wanna bet? And took Mega Glalie, because that's a thing people like to do. That's a really, really shitty Pokemon that people like to take. And let me scroll up. I have got notes on these teams. Yeah. Overall, it's not the worst. The speed tier's really solid. From Darmanitan, Zygarde, Glalie, and then you've got the Virizion, Zam, Koko. And, you know, there's some things to like for a team that has Mega Glalie. Vaporeon and Registeel have pretty good synergy. Also, Virizion can benefit pretty well from the Wishes. Hawlucha is a pretty good cleaner, especially since you can look at Glalie as a potential breaker, particularly since Spikes can be potentially dangerous with Hawlucha, and even Scarf Darmanitan. Overall, I would like to give this team a C+. That's what I'm going to give this team. Mostly losing points for the Mega Glalie. Now let's move over here to Jack and Ev's team. Jack and Ev has got the Kyurem Black with the Z move, Starmie, Mienshao, Rabombi, Mega Scizor, that little Raincore, Nidoqueen, Comfey. I love it. I love everything about this team. People shouldn't have let him get it. Great speed tiers. Scizor benefits from the rain. The nice little core 2 Mons, all you really need. Mienshao is good against steals, which the rest of the team doesn't cover too well aside from Mienshao, or aside from Nidoqueen. The Mienshao covers that. Doesn't have a grass, but it does handle pretty well everything that grass does have, so this is a pretty good team, I like to think. Pretty solid. So I'm actually going to go ahead and give it a C+. And next up here, the final one in this row, we've got the Real Magikarp and Arf. And this is a fun little team, ain't it? He's got Volcarona and Salamence, both Z users, and the hazard control is Claydol. So looks like we're going to see Claydol coming every week because this guy's offense is screwed by rocks, and that is all there is to manage it. That's nice. Versus a team that has a spin blocker for Claydol, his Volcarona is going to have to be defogging for itself, it looks like. And then you've got this weird little bit of a Trick Room core going on with Claydol, Slowbro, Mach. It's something else, this team. And of course the Zangoose, because for 20 points, going to be sweeping some teams. There is a little bit of offensive synergy with it, which I do like, that the Volcarona, Mence, and Terrakion all kind of pressure things differently. So all in all, oh, and I am of course a big Mega Slowbro believer. I need to have that on the record. So overall, I think I'm going to give this team a C+. Now let's scroll down here. Started on this side here with Raph, why not? Decent one to start with. And, you know, round 1, 180 point, round 1 Tapu Fini. That's a great ad there. And then you got your Breloom and Staraptor, which both have not been good since Gen 5. And right here with the Hoopa, the Exeggutor, Espeon, Vikavolt, I guess to some extent the Ferrothorn, you've got a Trick Room core that would make the inventor of Trick Room kill himself. It is ugly, that Trick Room team. And mostly Tapu Fini, that's the big one. I don't know. Maybe he was dared to take that in the first round. That's my guess as to what happened there. And overall, I'm going to give this team, because I don't like Pidgeot either, but I do like Blacephalon. That's a fun Pokemon to use, although not really the kind of things to really set it up optimally. I guess it's kind of nice with Fini. There's something there. Overall, I'm saying I'd probably give this team a C+. Next up over here, we have got, alright, I'm scrolling it over on the OBS. That's how we're doing it. There we go. We've got my boy, Cool Me Down B, H Colin 3 here, with the Z Thunderous Megalopony team. He is, of course, a horny little boy who was going to make Megalopony his first pick. And he falls into many of a line of people who have periodically begun to think that Moltres is a good Pokemon, which is very much a trap that you should not let yourself fall into. But out of those people, he's the first one to think, not only is Moltres going to be good for me, I do not need to get hazard removal for it because it looks like his best defogger is Thunderous. That's the looks of it. No spinner. We've got the Thunderous, Moltres, and Kyurem all operating without hazard control, so that's basically his whole offensive core that gets screwed by rocks. And then he made a nice little choice here to go for the Z Diancie over the Z Moltres, because that thing's gonna rock polish up and become a threat, I'm guessing. That's probably the thought of that, maybe. At least he does have the Tangrowth, so that's at least something he can't really screw up. Tangrowth and Lopunny, kind of foolproof at least. Crocodile, always a solid grab. So all in all, I think I'm going to give this team a C+. Next up here, we have got my pal, my buddy pal, Specs King, with his team here. And he's got the Heatran, which is always nice. And then he's got the Mega Camel, which is always trash. I don't know what my boy was thinking when he thought, not only am I going to take Mega Camel and I'm going to be the 50th person to try to prove that this thing works, even though it never does because it's slow and it's 4 times weak and it's easy to prep for. Not only am I going to be the first person to really make this work, it is going to function on a team that already has Heatran, which is a much better version of Mega Camel that isn't insanely slow. Also, there's no Trick Room, so it's not like there's going to be that advantage to bringing Camel. It's just looking quite garbage. At least he does have the checks to water, so I can say at least that this team is going to be warranting a C+ rating from me. And lastly, for this row here, we have got Paralyzer with this team. Got a nice first 2 picks with Landorus and Suicune. You've got me, now lose me. And he sure will, because he's got the Tornadus Incarnate. He's going to try to be the first person to make that thing work. That Pokemon has been consistently crap from what I've seen and what everyone's seen. He's going to make an interesting decision to make Celebi the Z user over Mimikyu. I can't even try to explain that. I don't know what's going on there. And then for the Mega, he decided that he was going to pay a good Mega price for a bad Mega Pokemon and get the Mega Altaria, which I didn't even like back in Gen 6 when it was buffed. And it still sucks. So, I am going to say that this team is probably, what do you think? C+, B-, somewhere in there. Let's give it a C+. That's what I'm going to say for that team. Let's give it a C+. Then we'll scroll down here. Down here, starting off, we got my buddy, Big Daddy Dave. Don't know why I call him my buddy. We've talked a little bit. We're in overall good terms, but we do not regularly converse. You know what? We should be buddies. I like Dave. We should be tight. Like that. And this video is going to be my first step towards that. An offer of friendship for Big Daddy Dave. And he has made an interesting choice. He could have had the Z Celesteela, which is probably one of the top 5 Z users in existence, as long as you're allowed to have a secondary Z user with it. Instead, he is going to decide to go for Manaphy instead, because it is the first week of Sun and Moon, and Z Rain Dance Manaphy is totally going to be busted instead of something no one ever really uses. Right on. And you know, you got the signs of a team that's desperate for speed in the late rounds when you got either Zebstrika or Excelcor, let alone both. He does have the Nido King and the DNC Mega, which I like. Latias, which most people don't know, is my favorite Pokemon, so he gets some points for that, which is going to save him just enough to get his grade on this team up to a C+. Next up here, we've got Aaron, who was starting off with a Zealanders Therian. How can you go wrong there? A team that looks like a direct ripoff of Gregulator's NPL team from a first glance. Maybe it's just the type of team that has been used 1,000 times before. Maybe we've got a big Gregulator fan here. Who knows? As we've got the Landers Therian, the Rotom Wash, the Charizard Mega X, all very familiar. We've got Whimsicott, which might be the worst Pokemon in existence, and is almost never worth bringing because it almost never does one Pokemon's worth of usefulness, anything. And man, this guy really beat that speed tier he likes to death. Landorus, Cobalion, Nihilego, Charizard Mega X, Persian, Whimsicott, just jamming everything in that range in together. At least people are gonna have some fun creeping in that range. Next up here, we've got Nathan, and this man decided he's got two Tier 1 180 cost Pokemon, and he is going to waste both of them with the Tornadus Therian and the Deoxys Defense, both of which are going to suck. Deoxys good for getting up spikes, and that's about it, but there is also right there the Scolipede. And I see here a full Hazard Stack team with Rocks, Spikes, another Spiker, T-Spikes, a ton of Rocks, and Webs, one of the better Web users. And I see a Defog blocker in Bisharp, but he's got no Spin blocker, and he's got no Rapid Spin of himself, so a very confused Hazard Stacking team, if I do say so myself. And yeah, I would say that this team... Did I grade Aaron's team? I don't believe I graded it. You know what, I am a big fan and viewer of the Gregulator channel, so I'm gonna have to give this team a C+ rating. And next on we'll move to Nathan's, and this team of course is gonna need a grading too. You know what, I'd say this one might actually also be a C+. That's probably what I'm thinking for that one too. And lastly here we've got Matt. And you know how it goes when you take Garchomp, Stealth Rocking, Stall Break, and Ground type in the first round. What do you need the second round? A Stealth Rocking, Stall Break, and Ground type in Mamoswine. And I don't know why, but at some point halfway through the draft, this man decided I need to start fresh and start making a terrible stall team. So you get the Mega Sableye, the Pex, the Florges, Decidueye, Rotom Heat to make to start with a nice offensive team and start to turn it into half of a nice offensive team and half of a shitty stall team. And that is what you've got here. But you know, you always get some points for Z Garchomp because that'll always start you off up 6-5. So I'd say I'd give this team probably, what do you think? I don't want to go too low. Let's say I'll give it a C+. I'll give the team a C+. So I'll scroll down here and we've got the last row down here. And starting off here, we got the Brown in his team, and he's got some of the most powerful threats of Generation 5, the start of Gen 5. This is what OU was. You got your Keldeo, your Zoroark, your Excadrill, your Hippowdon, Alomomola, all the best threats that are gonna make Gen 5 so fun. And then you got randomly the Mega Pokemon that ran Gen 6 thrown in there. And you got yourself an awkward little blast from the past. And, at least, you know what, I got to dock points for going Sand but taking Hippo over T-Tar. I can't jive with that. I gotta get that T-Tar, man. I'm gonna have to give this team a C+. I'm gonna say C+. Next up here, we've got Chess. And how are you gonna screw up after you get a round 1 Z Zeraora? Well, you can make your other most significant investment another over 400 speed cleaner. And then you could spend some points on Klefki and Gyarados. That's a good way to do it, but you know, at least he does have the chance to burn with Flare Blitz on the Incineroar. You know how that works. And he does get points for Piloswine because that Pokemon is busted. Even when it gets overpriced, as it has everywhere. Still a great Mon. And all in all, I'd have to say this team is probably C+. Next up here, we got two left. We got Akshay here. He has got the Weavile and the Metagross, and then Mega Glade. And then after that, he decides to make the worst ABR stall team I have seen. It's an ABR stall team so bad that ABR wanted to get an abortion. It is something else there. He just got a powerful offensive core in Weavile and Glade, and he decided, that's it, I got all the offense I need. How can I just stockpile the worst Stallmons to finish the team up? That's what I'm seeing here. And we see some great Z users on the team. We've got Seismitoad, Lantern, Shaman, and Dragalge. Not Weavile, which makes a good Z user, or Metagross, which can make a threatening rock polish cleaner late game. No, let's go with Dragalge and Seismitoad. That's what we want. Oh, and we gotta have Lantern for the Z Rain Dance to get the accurate thunders. That's how you do it. I'd say that since I do like Metagross, I can forgive some of the other things, and I'll give this team a C+. So now we move down to the last team here, which is going to be... Actually, I spoke to him before the video, and he said that I was going to say Joel, but he told me that he's actually French, and it's supposed to be pronounced Joel. So we got Joel's team here. And he's got the Z-Latios, the Greninja, and the Roserade. And I see these first three picks, and I'm like, booyah. Well, not first three picks, but first three Mons. And I'm like, booyah, this team's rocking. How could he possibly screw it up? Except after those three, he decides that he is done taking good Pokemon. He's going to get Blaziken, Swellow, Uxie, Donphan, Licky. Licky's not that bad. I'm not going to group it in with there. I'm going to put Raichu in that category, though. And Mawile Mega, he's one of the many people to be thinking, oh, Mega Mawile, that Pokemon's going to be busted in draft, just to find out it isn't. It's dangerously, aggressively average. But time will tell him there. I'm so conflicted because the first three Mons on the top there, love it. Love Latios, and then Greninja and Roserade. Those are Pokemon I like to draft in rounds 2 and 3. And it's looking like they were probably his rounds 3 and 4 picks, so I really like those. But so much crap afterwards. I'm gonna have to give this team a C+ grading. So those are my grades for the Hive Weedle drafts. You can see all of them there, or you have seen all of them there. You can't see the stock, it's not public. Well, public now, at least this page. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want me to go in and roast some of the other divisions, I best see some likes, and I best get some honey for my efforts here. And that's going to be it for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a good day.